right, hello everybody. So today we are going to be looking at how to take a finalized vector design like this and add some kind of texture to it. So make it look like it's an actual poster that has existed in the world. And so to do that, we need to find some kind of texture image. And when I say a texture image, I'm talking about something that has like no detail, no words, no imagery, but it has some kind of tactile texture, right? So some kind of grain, some kind of wrinkle, something like that. So here are all some great examples of textures. There's all kinds of resources online because there's so many designers and artists out there. A lot of them share their own resources. And so a texture, what you're looking for is something with some kind of tactility. So some kind of like grain or some kind of something. Something to make the design look a little more interesting. And the key is to find something that works great for your image. So you don't want to find something with a watermark. That'll ruin it. You don't want to find something that is really low quality. Let's open this one in a new tab and actually look at this image. See how tiny that is, and if I zoom in, it's super small. And if we apply this to the design, we'll be able to see the pixels, and we don't want that. Okay, so yeah, we want to find some kind of high quality texture. I can help you guys with that. So I've already found one that fits the size of this design. So once you have your texture file downloaded into your file finder, you just need to click it and drag it into Adobe Illustrator. And a good way to know if it's big enough or not is if it takes up like a good portion of the design. If you drag it in and it's like that big, it's not going to look good for your design. So let me undo that there. And then I'm going to just stretch this to be the size of my design. We need to make sure when we're changing the size of this image that we hold down Shift, and that allows us to retain the proper dimensions of the image, and it's not going to like stretch it out and make it look all weird. So hold down Shift and we'll keep those same dimensions. There we go. Okay, so now we have the texture and we have the design below, and what we want is to keep the values from this, but not the colors. So we don't want like all the whites that are in this, but we want like all those little shadows and all that stuff. And so to do that, we're going to make sure that the texture image is selected. Click it if it's not. And what we're going to need is the Properties tab. So the Properties tab that reads Properties right here. If it's not open, if any tab is not open and you ever need a tab in Illustrator, you can go up to Window, and this is where the big old list of tabs that or menus or little sub-menus that you need to have open. You can select any one of these and open it up. So Properties is already checked. If I unchecked it, it would go away. And if I check it again, it pops up. And what we're going to use in Properties is opacity. So I'm going to click on opacity, which is right here in the middle. I'm going to click on the word. And another submenu, we're going to go into this little guy right up here, the one that's normal. If we hover over it, it's going to say blending mode, and that's what we want. So we want to find a blending mode for this image that will blend it into the design behind it. And so I'm just going to start clicking through, start trying to find one that works, and each one does something slightly different. And your job is to just find the one that you think looks best with your design. And so I'm going to go up to multiply, I think. And multiply, what multiply does is, let's click off of the image here, is it retains those shadows. It still keeps and holds onto those shadows, and it kind of applies them to the design below, which is really cool. And that's pretty much it. That's how you add a texture to a design. There we go. So the last thing, we're just going to export this and save it as an image. So I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go down to Export, Export As. Make sure it's a image file type. So those two image file types are a JPEG or a PNG. So I'm just going to keep it as a PNG. I'm going to name it something I can find easily. So maybe Cincinnati, Cincinnati. I travel poster. Give me something. Oops. Like that. There we go. Something I can find easily. Hit export. Make sure my resolution is turned all the way up on high so it's a good quality image. Hit OK. Give it a second. And oh, there it is. Beautiful. Awesome. So that's it. That's how you add a texture to a design in Illustrator.